Narayana. Hari Om and good evening from Cleveland. Yes, I'm in Cleveland right now. If we go to Ramayana, the monkeys in the jungle, in the forest, they're all obeying the instructions of Sugriva. And Sugriva is following the vision of Bhagwan Rama. Monkeys to Sugriva, Sugriva to Bhagwan Rama. What this looks like subjectively, those monkeys are the thoughts. You can remember monkey with man-ki. What is the possession of the mind? Thoughts. And the monkeys are following Sugriva. Griva means neck. Sugriva, the one who has a strong neck, that shows someone who has a strong head in the sense that they're clear with what their vision is. And Bhagwan Rama means joy. All that we studied in the happiness series, that's Bhagwan Rama. The thoughts are to follow the voice of the intellect towards joy. As long as there's doubts with the voice of the intellect, then these thoughts go all over the place. Here is where, in the happiness series, we talked about the purpose of living is happiness, and the path to that purpose is development. And I feel the same with our Atma Bodha course. Atma Bodha is trying to clear our doubts about where happiness is and where happiness is not. And as long as these doubts are there, we just get tired. Tired of school, tired of work, tired of our relationships. That tiredness is because of the weight of doubts. When there's clarity, there's conviction, there's confidence, one is never tired then. Have you ever met someone who is tireless? It's because that person has such clarity that there's no weight in their heart. There's no weight on their personality. When an article is too close to us, it is difficult to see that article fully, to see that article's nature. All of you take your hand and bring it to the tip of your nose. Now tell me, what does your hand look like? You can't see what your hand looks like, so you have to move your hand back and then you can see your lines and the shape of your fingers. Vyasa gets confused sometimes. His hand is too close to him, so he doesn't know what to do with it. So then he brings it back a little bit and starts to move his fingers, and for so many minutes he just keeps moving his fingers. It's gratifying to see how grateful he is. Here, what Acharya Shankara is doing for us is he's bringing icons of our day-to-day existence to life. Icons like clouds, the moon, a pool of water, our own reflection. We see them so closely that we take them for granted. He's asking us to take a step back so that in your own life you can start to recognize reality. You can start to feel joy. In Shloka 22, which we took up last week, we had a fine example of the relationship between purity and clarity. Where there's purity, there's clarity, like purity in a diamond. That diamond is more clear. And the example given here is of water, and the water being like our mind. The first strategy we need to do, if you have dirty water, you have a pail of dirty water, the first is you have to quieten that water. We have to quieten the mind. We have to quieten the rajas, the aggression. That's when we become more steady. How do you know that you're quietening this mind? You become more steady, like water. Once the water becomes quiet, you can start taking out the dirt, correct? You can't take dirt out of dirt mixed with water because it's still in the water. You have to let that dirt settle to the bottom. That's us making the mind or the intellect still. When there's total stillness, you can start to collect that dirt and remove it. That's tamas. Tamas is that laziness, that ignorance. And what this feels like is when we become more sincere. Steadiness, less rajas. Sincerity, less tamas. The sutra for Shloka 22 is dedication gifts humility. Less rajas, I'm not so focused on deservership. Less tamas, I'm not so focused on doership. We move on to Shloka 23. What time did you all sleep last night? You're nervous to answer that question, right? But you know my response is going to be, whatever time you give me, I'm going to say you're wrong. Because if you know what time you went to sleep, that means you're not sleeping, isn't it? If you know what time you're sleeping, you're not sleeping. A similar thought is brought up in Shloka 23. Rage cha sukha dukkhadi buddhau satyam pravartate sushuptau nasti tannashe tasmat buddhestu natmanaha. Together, rage cha sukha dukkhadi buddhau satyam pravartate sushuptau nasti tannashe tasmad buddhestu natmanaha. Acharya Shankara says here, raga, which is attachment, icha, desire, sukha, pleasure, dukkha, pain. These can be reordered to icha, raga, sukha, dukkha. Where there is desire, there is attachment. Whatever I desire, I get attached to. And when I get what I'm attached to, there is sukha. There is pleasure. But built into pleasure is pain. So it always ends with dukkha. And that very wonderful word at the end, adi. What does adi mean? Etc. or on and on and on and on. As soon as that dukkha comes, we go back to, oh, I should have a different icha. Raga, sukha, dukkha. And then repeat. And we don't even have to be told to repeat. We do it anyways. And the next line, buddhau satyam pravartate. Buddhau here means the antakarana, the mind and memory, the intellect and ego. Satyam means this is the nature of pravartate, this is functioning or moving. This desire, attachment, pleasure, and pain is known as long as the software is working. As long as the antakarana, mind, memory, intellect, ego is working, then I feel these. But when the software is not working, then I don't feel these. Okay, and this is shared more clearly in the third line. Sushuptau, in sleep. Sushuptau does not mean swapna. Swapna we studied already, which is dream. And not jagrat, which is waking. Though for all of us, we kind of just blend into each of these so indiscriminately. Daydreaming, sleepwalking, etc., etc. Nasti tannashe. When the mind or the software stops working, nasti, there is no desire, there's no attachment, there's no pleasure, there's no pain. When the software doesn't work, then the vices don't work either. Which really shows that these vices are an expression of the software. These vices are intrinsic to the software. But this software, the antakarana, can be turned on and off, which means that this is just an equipment, that you are different from that which is turned on and off. If you were this software that turned off, then you would never know what is happening in your life day after day. Imagine you died every day and were reborn every day. Ultimately, then you wouldn't know what you ate yesterday. You wouldn't know what school you went to, but you all do know that. Which means this is just an equipment with an on-off switch. And when this is on, there's all of this noise. Raga, dvesha, etc. But when it's off, there's no noise there. I'll read a really awesome quote for you from Edgar Allan Poe. Sleep, those little slices of death, how I loathe them. Here he describes sleep as a slice of death. Sleep is known as a little death. But death of what? It is death of that micro. Death of the software, but it's not of the macro. It is not of the user of that software, which is shared in the last line. Tasmat, therefore, buddhe tu, na atmanaha. Therefore, these functions, these vices, disappointment, depression, anxiety, frustration, jealousy, comparison, greed, whatever vice you take, buddhau tu, they belong in the mind, they do not belong in the self. In a very technical way, these vices in the mind are known as concomitant variables. Concomitant variables. When I use big words like that, it's like I know what I'm talking about, correct? You're all saying no? You can use small words or big words, you still don't know what you're talking about. Concomitant variables is, if A is present, B is present, and when A is not present, B is not present. Therefore, B depends on A. B is concomitant to A. A is the mind, B is the vices. Those vices depend on the mind. You are different. You are deeper. You are Atman. Here is your sutra. How many of you know what the second sutra of the Yoga Sutras is by Rishi Patanjali? All of our yoga students, shouldn't you know this? Yogas chitta vritti nirodha. Yogas chitta vritti nirodha. If you go backwards, nirodha means transcending the vritti, the thoughts of the chitta, of the mind, is yoga. So here your sutra is transcend the thoughts. Transcend the thought thoughts. Where there are thoughts, there will be vices. We cannot control the thoughts. We cannot suppress the thoughts. We have to transcend these thoughts. I'm sharing this in a very light way. When you're serious about happiness, you become less serious. When you're serious about happiness, you become less serious. I find many people, as they become serious about happiness, they become more serious, which really means that they become more serious but less happy. That is a poor way of interpreting and practicing self-development. If you are serious about happiness, when thoughts of desire and attachment and pleasure and pain come, they're just thoughts. I am bigger than these thoughts. I am going to transcend these thoughts. What a lovely subject. In the happiness series, we were discussing how we're habituated to think that we are not happy. And if you think you are or you think you aren't, you're probably right. If you think you're happy, you're probably right. And if you think you're not happy, you're probably right. We are habituated to think we're not happy, but here Acharya Shankara is trying to change our habits. Shloka 24. Prakashorkasya toyasya shaityam agniryatoshnata swabhava satchidananda nitya nirmalatatmanaha prakashorkasya toyasya shaityam agniryatoshnata swabhava satchidananda nitya nirmalatatmanaha. Where there is the arka. Arka here means sun. What else is going to be there? Prakasha. There's going to be light. I'm in the first line. If sun, then light. Blending in the first line and second line, toya. Toya means water. You've heard the word toya before from Srimad Bhagavad Gita, where Bhagavan Krishna in the earlier chapter talks about offering pinda and toya, balls of rice and water, to a corpse. And later on in chapter 9, he says, if you give me a leaf or a flower or a fruit or water. So here, this word toya. Where there is water, there's going to be shaitya or shitala, which means coolness. I don't really understand this example because in India it's always hot and even the water is hot. But I think comparatively, India is always hot, and so water is cooler than the hotness of India. So if water, then coolness. And if agnihi, then ushnata. If there is fire, then there is going to be heat. So we have three if-thens. Sun and light, water and coolness, fire and heat. And Acharya Shankara says in the next, in the third line, Swabhavaha Satchidananda. Swabhavaha. Bhavaha means feeling. Swa means feeling of the self. That is being the most deep feeling, the most centered feeling, the most real feeling. And what is that feeling? Of Sat, Chit, Ananda. Of existence, awareness, joy. That one goes deeper than labels, deeper than equipments. One's nature is existence, awareness, joy, and this does not change. This comes out in the next line. This is nitya, this is nirmala, this is atmanaha. The self is nitya, is forever, and nirmala means it never changes. So if Atman, then existence, awareness, joy. If Atman, then forever and changeless. In this shloka, we learn a lot about dharma. We learn that dharma, in a verb sense, means that which integrates. In a noun sense, it means responsibility. The dharma of the sun is not going to change. The dharma of water is not going to change. The dharma of fire is not going to change. Why do you think your dharma has changed? It's just a thought, no? Hence the earlier shloka about transcending the thoughts. Just a thought. Here is our sutra. Our nature is like nature. Our nature is like nature. When you see a rabbit, rabbits are cute. And they will always be cute. That's the nature of rabbits. When you see rabbits, they're always nibbling away at grass. That's the nature of rabbits. Those rabbits are never not going to be cute. Those rabbits are never going to fight dogs. With nature, there's so much acceptance. There's so much appreciation. And I'm saying our nature is like nature too. We should accept our nature. We should appreciate our nature. That's why this is the science of happiness. No other science teaches us what our nature is. We study the nature of all else, but the nature of I. Oh. Narayana.